Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. This rant will be entitled Strategic Sunken Place, and we're going to get into who that's about, but I think you guys can jump to that conclusion already. We just got done sitting through an anti-Kailyn episode of Big Brother Canada. They did everything they could to ruin her character in the game, and they did everything they could to label her dangerous outside of the game, just based off of her mindset, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to break that down, but you know who it is. I am your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trill, Rant God, Thanos. Yes. The Infinity Stones are mine. Even Death Rose is on deck. Let's get it popping tonight, ladies and gentlemen. In tonight's episode, we are going to discuss all of the bullshit production left out of the edit to provide context as to why Kailyn was crying on Thursday night. Yeah, I bet y'all didn't even know she was crying because they made it seem like she just stood up for no reason. Okay, and they made it seem like Adam did not shout her way. And what pisses me off even more than all of that, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that Anthony allowed someone to talk down to a woman who could very well be old enough to be his mother. Okay, that's no respect, bruh. That's no respect. You get no respect from me for even allowing that shit. Now, I know there's people going, oh, he can't ruin his game for her, Dave. We're not asking for him to ruin his game for her. We just asking for a bit of respect to be shown to her. And Thanos is going to regulate tonight. Please believe, coach. So share this video to who you got to, because it's finna get lit tonight. I got more than enough receipts. I got more than enough notes to back up my entire argument. Not only is Chelsea taking the easy way out and is a damn coward this week, but I'm going to back up my argument as to why Chelsea is targeting Kailyn, not for strategic reasons, for personal reasons. I'm going to break that down tonight, too. I'm going to break down tonight why Anthony is in a strategic sunken place, why the one misplay, well, two misplays that he did on Thursday night may have cost everyone that is a person of color the entire game. I'm going to break that down as well. I'm going to break down Dane. All of a sudden, now you want to cry. You talking all that hot shit like the man above, the man below, like you was trying to stand 10 toes down. Then all of a sudden Mackie leaves. You gonna act like you threatened by him now? Ain't that a bitch? So you can lie, you could swear an oath, and then you can play the victim after? Come on, bruh. That's beta male behavior. I ain't co-signing that bullshit either. We gonna talk that hot shit tonight. Okay? And I gotta let y'all know, Big Brother Canada, I've been speaking nothing but positive things about this season so far. But tonight, I'm gonna talk about a lot of negatives. See, I've been trying to give y'all the benefit of the doubt. But now we got to deal with the fact that this power veto ceremony, this power veto competition that we will see on Wednesday, by the way, now we got to deal with the fact that on Twitter, online, there is reason to believe, and on feeds, because the players have confirmed this, that someone cheated to win. So now some guy who I believe is the one who's behind all of these competitions, I believe his name is Trevor Boris, he comes on Twitter and he says, there's no rule against cheating. So if they did cheat, it wasn't cheating. That's bullshit. Because that lets every single super fan watching this game know that you all are doing one thing, production. You're rooting for the majority alliance. Because if you allow people to help each other in power veto competitions, you're only helping the majority of people. Because let's be honest, if the people in the minority start helping each other outright, they get all targeted back to back to back. Meaning they can't really afford to do it as much as the cocky majority could. So you guys are rigging this. Like you rigged BB19 for Paul Beta-Hamian. It's the same fucking shit. Remember that little competition when he had to get the little token and he had to finish the little thing and they looking for stuff in all these little balls and everyone's just giving they shit the ball to win shit? That's essentially what the veto comp this week was, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to break that down a little bit later, but Kira was supposed to win it and she threw it to Sam, which is then bounced back on Chelsea's game because she looks like an idiot. Okay, we're going to break that down. Okay, and see, man, there's so much stuff to discuss, coach. There's so much stuff to discuss. I don't even want to be bothered freestyling this because people will try to nitpick the freestyle. I almost want to just go right to the damn notes. That way can't no one refute what I'm saying. Do y'all agree with Thanos? I agree. Let's get it popping. First thing I noticed was Dane crying like a beta male. Okay, at least keep that same energy. You're supposed to be a damn hockey player. But you crying because of a decision you wanted to make? Your alliance approached you last week, Dane. They said, it's not wise to make this promise, Dane. Why would you even want to promise on your dead father? What's the point? It's a waste of time, Dane. Come on, Mackie's leaving. Don't even make this. Dane was the one who kept insisting, no, guys, no, let's make this deal. No, I'll keep my word, blah, 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 blah. But then a whole bunch of things changed. But see, my problem with Dane is he's not even man enough to admit he decided for himself to break that tie and send Mackie home. Now, present day on feeds, he's blaming Sam for this. Oh, well, if you really think about it, Sam controlled the last 3 HOHs. What the fuck? You were the second HOH, bitch. What you mean she controlled it? Huh? So you allowed her to control it when you tried to backdoor? That don't even make sense. You was the one who told Adam prematurely that you wanted to come after Sam, which made him want to win that veto in the first place. She ain't control a damn thing. You were in control of all your faculties and you choked. You choked under pressure, okay? And the moment you had to be a stand-up dude and keep your word, you didn't, coach. You didn't. You lied through none of your teeth. How about that, coach? We gonna talk that hot shit tonight. Because I'm tired of this bullshit, see? And I went out of my way to tell y'all before this season started, I don't need to see a black winner this season. We just got that. But I'd be damned if we go back to the same subliminal racist rhetoric that I've been dealing with since I've been watching this show since I was a kid and didn't even notice it. I'll be damned if I contribute to that bullshit and not call it out. There's all of these other people scared to call it out. Either they don't want to call it out because it takes away their credibility as a former player, or they do want to call it out, but they don't want to risk what they have because at the end of the day, they could be a bit compromised. So allow me to be that guy for all of you. Okay, let's form like Voltron right now. Lend me your power. The spirit bomb is coming and the smoke is rising, coach. So let's continue. All right, I'm telling y'all, I'm ready, bruh. I'm ready. Okay, and then you got Kira, who literally only had a battery in her back because she got saved by a tiebreaker. So in the back of her mind, she's thinking the majority of people in this house like me, so now I can talk that hot shit. When in reality, Corey didn't get to vote, so it's really even still, even after Mackie leaves, but we're not going to get into that. But at the end of the day, coach, for you to have this battery in your back to approach this older woman the way you did when you didn't have none of that smoke for her alone, it shows you're a fucking coward too. And see, this is the story of this alliance. They're all a bunch of cowards. Together, they're fearless. By themselves, they don't want it. They don't want it. How many times do one episode do I got to see them categorizing a 40-year-old black woman as dangerous? How many times I got to hear that shit? And how many times do I got to hear Anthony doubling down on this dumb shit? Does he not understand that rhetoric will be flipped on him down the line? Now, I'm hearing people say, well, Dave, he's not a super fan. But if you watch him on the feeds, ladies and gentlemen, this motherfucker's giving advice to everybody in the house as if he's a fucking super fan, as if he has all the answers. But what has Anthony done in this game yet to be the guy who's the fucking oracle giving out advice? What has he done? Please clue me in. And see, there's a lot of people that love to paint me as this guy who's just biased. Oh, you're so pro-black. You never even hold the black players accountable, Dave. Bullshit. Because you're going to see nothing but that tonight. You're going to see nothing but that tonight. Okay? And this is all me defending Kailyn's honor in the process, because everybody wants to label her as this huge manipulator. But if you really break down Anthony's game, his game is the game he's saying Kailyn's playing. If you break down Mark's game, his game is the game they say Kailyn is playing. All of these people are allowed to play this game. But if Kailyn does it, oh, she's a master manipulator. How did she get all of these people to do what was best for their game and that quickly? Because it was best for their game, dumbass. That's how. And by the way, for all the people celebrating St. Patrick's Day, kudos to you, okay? Salute. But at the end of the day, coach, we gonna talk that hot shit, okay? We still gonna talk that hot shit, because at the end of the day, you guys are holding Kailyn to a standard you're not holding yourselves. Mark can play both sides of the damn house and do the exact same gameplay, and women will even voice it out loud that they don't trust him, but for some reason, he's not worth backdooring. He can make the jury, but Kailyn can't. What is up with this segregation form of jury management here? Who are you to decide who can and cannot make jury? Why do you fucking care? Is it because you have a personal problem with this person and you know they would never vote for you? See, that's the question we need answered. Because at the end of the day, for Anthony's game, Kailyn is an easy vote for you to win. You're a fucking idiot if you want her gone pre-jury. Mackie was another vote for you, Anthony. What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay? Now, let's get into the nitty gritty because I ain't even at feeds yet. Okay, I just want to finish this episode, get it out the way, and we can keep it popping. Okay, but what I really want to bring up here is how the editors hit the part where Adam yelled at Kailyn. Oh, so y'all can fit in scenes of her feeling safe to make her look dumb, but y'all can't show Adam being a bully, huh? This is what made Kailyn stay to herself and cry, but of course, a black woman's tears don't hold no weight. And see, that's my problem. When a white girl cries, oh, that makes the edit, and then they give her violins behind it. They don't put none of these little percussion instruments in the background to make make Kailyn look stupid after her scenes. Oh no, when it's a white girl, oh, they give her the entire concerto. They give her the entire ensemble. Oh, she gets a whole fucking orchestra behind her, because we got to play this up. We got to make it more believable. But when it's Kailyn, no, we want you to think this is bullshit from the start. So we give you sound effects to let you know she's dumb. So you see that? Do you see that? See, this isn't me saying anything that isn't true. If anyone has watched the game enough seasons, you know that they do this shit to black players all the time. The difference is, let's be real. Someone said this, I think it was A. Doomies on Twitter. Shout outs to her. She said we were spoiled by Celebrity Big Brother Season 2. I agree with you wholeheartedly because that season took us out of the world we've been living in where the game is propagated and people benefit off the subliminal racism. We've been ignoring it because we saw a season where we actually got to see black players be themselves and not be judged for it. So now we're thinking, good. That's going to become the new norm because all of these people are going to know that it's okay to let them be themselves. What do we get when we come into this season? Nah, bruh. Nah, we can't have nice things, can we? All right, so let me continue. This is what made Kailyn stay to herself and cry, but of course, a black woman's tears don't hold the same weight, so it never made the edit to show how bad she was being treated. And for Anthony to allow a grown man to step to a woman that's old enough to be his mom drives me up a wall. But this edit at least confirms my suspicions. Who production is rooting for to win? They're rooting for the majority side. And when I get to discussing the veto comp later, it will all make more sense, ladies and gentlemen. But the fact that they fit a rare food competition into this edit but wouldn't even show all that happened after Mackie left shows they only want the casual audience to dislike one player, Kailyn, ladies and gentlemen. So just like I predicted what would happen on Thursday, Kailyn is being thrown under the bus all week. Everyone said, Chelsea's a better player than that, Dave. She won't go for the easy way out. Shit, I even told y'all Kiki would probably wind up on that block. And Kiki actually holds Chelsea to some type of a reverence. She still threw her up. And let's be real, Estefania didn't go up because Dane is goo goo gaga over her. Okay, so he protected her enough based off what he did the week before and based off the fact that he broke the tie and ruined his social game. So they had to throw him a bone. Dane, you're an idiot. Now, let's continue. Peep game on the Pretty Boys painting Kailyn as a dangerous woman, all because she held Dane accountable for his own sworn oath. She's being villainized for keeping receipts. I've never heard of this before. You feel me? So you mean to tell me because Dane made a mistake and because Kailyn remembered his mistake, she's a manipulator? Huh? This is how they do us, though. This is how they do us. And for all the people saying, all I can do is talk about race. Don't watch the video then, bitch. Like, I'm just keeping it all the way a buck tonight. All right? They're working so hard to make sure Kailyn can't be Tamar of Big Brother Canada. Okay? They aren't even editing her fairly, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's get into feeds, because this is going to back up everything that I'm saying about this episode, because they didn't show half the shit that went down since Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. And while I understand you can't show everything because there is a veto episode, there still were things that happened on Thursday and Friday that they could have showed for this episode. So let's go. Dane said, and he said this on feeds, Dane said if Chelsea backdoors him, he would kick Kira, I'm talking about the non-binary blindsider, out of Chelsea's HOH room and beat the shit out of Chelsea. Wow. He said that on feeds, ladies and gentlemen. This is facts. This isn't me. Oh, you're putting a little bit of hot sauce on that. No, I'm not. He said that dead out of his damn mouth. But of course, Kailyn is still disliked by the majority of white folks more than Dane. Ain't that a bitch? Let's continue. And he said this to Anthony, who just laughed it off. Anthony has to know that now is the time to abandon these ticking time bombs, known as Dane and Mark. Production even had to jump in and say, remember that Canada is watching. I mean, that's the voice. To get Dane to stop talking reckless. Mackie deserved better than for this jackass. Hold on real quick. I lost myself for a second. I was trying to press this back button on my phone. All right, yeah, that's even better. Now I can see everything, okay? Now let me get back to what Mackie deserved better than this. Well, better for this jackass to send him home just because Anthony didn't want to vote with the people of color. Anthony had options and foregoed all of them to stay loyal to a group of guys that ain't shit. I need an explanation for him why he wanted Kira to stay so bad. So she does nothing for his game. Another thing I noticed was how similar Mark is starting to play like Paul. Mark is trying way too hard to be friendly with people on the outs that all happen to be of color besides Damian. He went from asking Damian what his strategy was to finding out Chelsea told Damian he is the pawn. Because he was given this information, Mark then tries to figure out Damian's gameplay, but it wouldn't work. And this is why I want to give Damian credit. Damian has a great poker face. They can't read him. Like, they assume, oh, he's going to come after Adam because Adam had some fight with Damian a couple of weeks ago. We didn't see that either. Proving my point once again, production is covering up all the fucked up shit Adam does. Okay, so this is sketchy. This is really sketchy. Okay, Damian played it cool and only really gave one-word answers after that. But Mark tried to imply Damian being the pawn is a good thing simply because he wasn't the worst thing, the target. Convo gets awkward, which makes him get up. Then he starts talking to Dane like Secret's Alliance members shouldn't when someone on the outs is nearby. This, to a degree, may have compromised Dane and Mark in Damian's head, but we won't know for sure if he peeped this until confessionals back it up on the television show. All right. Adam plans to send Kailyn home this week and then target Damian and Eddie next. Sam agrees to this plan. They still consider Kiki and Estefania as part of their 8-person alliance for some weird reason. Chelsea takes exception to the fact that Kailyn used something against her that she told in confidence. Interesting, y'all. But these are the same people calling her mama when that story wasn't told to them directly either. Showing Chelsea is suffering from a predictable case of white privilege here to suggest her secrets are off limits, but Kailyn's are not. You see what I'm doing there? I'm just going to keep hitting them with jabs to show you all of these people are full of shit. All right, let's continue. She also has some plan of what she's going to say to her at the veto ceremony if veto is used. So this easily is a personal move for Chelsea, not necessarily a strategic one. It seems like she is only threatened by Kailyn because Kailyn is a social player. The only way to make Kailyn look bad is to over-exaggerate her social skills. Who would have thought Kira would see the best possible play on Friday night for this week? She pitches for them to target Kiki over Kailyn. To be real, Kiki is the one with the influence everyone is saying Kailyn has on that side. Without Kiki, they probably don't get Damian's vote to keep Mackie. I highly doubt Kailyn is closer to Damian than Kiki. So common sense tells us Kailyn is being railroaded here. Kira even told Chelsea to her face in front of the entire alliance that she's a floater herself, which was one of the things I tried to bring up the other day about how if Kira leaves and Mackie stays, Chelsea technically is a fucking floater. So who is she to say I'm targeting floaters? You see what I'm saying? This game is all about perspective, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes you just get lucky and sometimes you're unlucky. Okay, but that doesn't make the person who was unlucky a bad player, and it doesn't make the lucky player a good player. Sometimes you're just lucky, but it feels like people don't give black players credit when they're unlucky. They never give them, oh, he was a good player, he was just unlucky. They always rule that person out as being bad just because they were sent home early, which allows them to do what? Dismiss the subtle racism. Let's continue. This is what I've been saying. Without Kira still in the game to be perceived as Chelsea's minion, Chelsea looks like a floater in the game that's hiding behind a showman's. So for her to target floaters just tells me she wasn't the only one playing that game. She's even said she wouldn't care if she had to get Kira out this week because nobody would be mad about it. But that move, I think, only happens if Kailyn is randomly picked for veto and uses it to take off Damian. Only then could I see Kira leaving, because Mark and Dane would vote to keep Kiki over Kira, but they would always save Kira over Damian. This is the same situation that could have happened in week 1, but I'm still suspicious production could have kept it from happening for optics' sake alone. The men view Damian and Eddie as the only people left who can stop their imperial march, okay? Yeah, these motherfuckers on the dark side. Let's keep it all the way a buck tonight, all right? I feel like Kiki, the Youngbloods, Damian, that's the Jedi over there. Let's just call it what it is. This is unfortunate because it goes to show the men are selfish. They will only save who they want to showmance with. If they can't get that from you, they will allow Sam and Chelsea to dictate the social game. Chelsea is scared Anthony and Dane will feel left out because she's devising plans with Adam and Sam all the time, but not with them. Kira can tell. Kira, you can tell, isn't a fan of this because she wants Chelsea to their self to discuss feelings, literally. Okay, Chelsea wants to discuss the elephant in the room of Kailyn with Anthony, but little does she know how little Anthony even cares about Kailyn in this game. See, Chelsea's almost approaching this with still the stereotype that, oh, he's wrapped around her finger. Okay, that's why she got to talk to Adam to figure out what Anthony's head is at, and Adam has to constantly give her reaffirmation that no, I'm letting you know right now, he's gonna be all right. He's not against you. Trust me. But the more Adam does that, the more he reveals he's aligned to him. The more any of these guys protect each other, the more they reveal who they're aligned to. It just doesn't make sense. Okay, if you're just trying to save yourself, you're not gonna try to save someone else too. You should be more worried about yourself unless you're in an alliance. See what I'm saying? Now let's continue. Okay. They are expecting Anthony to be this They are expecting Anthony to be this pro-black player, but he couldn't be bothered. And to be fair, Chelsea should know this already without needing to discuss Kailyn, because Anthony didn't vote to keep Mackie. They can count. If there's any doubt towards Anthony in that vote, Damian, in theory, shouldn't be a pawn now. But this is another reason why Anthony made a mistake. His best chance of playing this game successfully is playing both sides, but he can't do that when he's dismissing Kiki's offer of an olive branch, thinking he has nothing to gain from it just because she's desperate right now, bro. Kiki offered him the same damn power vacuum, and he declined it. Chelsea went as far as to say backdooring Kailyn is a more exciting way of handling this week. I can't make this up. She said that. She said it would be good TV. And she even had a speech plan that would be very malicious, but she decided not to do it. And then she changed the speech to, oh, you've been lying ever since you got in this game, so it's only right that you lie in the bed you made. That's what her veto speech is going to be when she backdoors her. Corny as shit, right? Okay, but she thinks it's going to make her cool. So this is personal, y'all. Otherwise, she would have just been like, hey, I'm just backdooring you. It's a game move. Or how about this? You don't backdoor her at all because she isn't a comp beast. You backdoor comp beasts so they can't fight for their right to stay in the game. You backdooring someone who is a social player only further backs up my argument that this is a personal move. You feel me? Because if you really cared about somebody who could play that manipulative game, you would want to get out somebody who's cool with your side and their side, because those people have more options. But you don't care about the people with the most options. You care about the black woman because you threatened by her social game. Now let's continue. As if anyone considers this an exciting HOH week that isn't already dick riding this boring alliance. Chelsea and everyone else can clearly see Kira's personality has completely changed since she's been saved. Kira is beginning to project her own gameplay flaws on others, and they are too tone deaf to notice it. Kira thinks they have Kailyn fooled, but they don't. Youngblood and Damian are in the bedroom discussing noms, and they jump to the conclusion that Kailyn must be the back door because they all expected them to be up. Kiki even goes as far to tell Damon and Estefania if she leaves this week, never trust Mark. This is good because she's already planting seeds to Mark not being shit. Good on you, Kiki. Good on you. Anthony starts working on Corey to get her to flip by throwing Kailyn under the bus. When I tell y'all Anthony threw Kailyn under the bus so often this weekend, I mean, he basically had the same conversation with everyone in the house not named Kailyn. Seriously. I mean, like verbatim. It's almost like he had the same speech memorized like he's the fucking president or something. Like real talk, man. Like, I get it. You're trying to play a specific game, but to have you be the one that is trying to bury this sister the way you're trying to bury her just to prove you fit in with all these motherfuckers who labeled you a baboon dog? Nah, bruh. Nah, that could never be me. But let's continue. Some of the stuff he was saying was true. Let me be fair to Anthony there. But he was lying as well. He said Kailyn convinced Damian to vote Mackie to stay by saying a prayer and telling them Dane promised on his dad's ring that Mackie would stay. Dane promised on his dad's life, but he's only saying he promised on the ring. Now, up to my knowledge, he's promised on both, which is even worse because then that means he broke 2 oaths. But let's continue. But see, this retelling of the story doesn't provide full context as to why they were so disgusted by Dane. It makes Kailyn look like a crazy person who overreacted, when in reality, she was told excessive, unforgivable lies just so the person who reminded her of one of her kids could be blindsided. It was a personal move. And Anthony is showing me he also has a personal problem with Kailyn as well by how he never has anything positive to say about her game. Everything is shade coming from this dude's mouth. He even tried to imply Kailyn is dumb for telling him he needs Mackie in this game. But she was telling your dumb ass the truth, bro. You did need Mackie in this game. But you're so full of yourself, you're too busy drinking your own fucking Kool-Aid or maybe it's your own champagne, Tone. You so busy trying to drink that shit, you don't see the forest from the trees, bro. And if you ain't a super fan, how can you possibly have this game all figured out? You don't understand how badly you needed those people of color's votes. You don't understand it. And that's if you make it to the end. And I'm going to bring up why 2 members of his alliance is probably going to turn on him, y'all. I'm going to break that down later. And that's going to be an exclusive prediction only RBR can give you. So stay tuned. Woo, we finna give him that work tonight, okay? If he wasn't in this pretty boy alliance, he would see that Kailyn was giving him sound advice here, seeing as she has seen more episodes of the game than he has. But he doesn't want anyone to think Kailyn has him wrapped around her finger like they think he is. But in doing so, he is just volunteering to be wrapped around somebody else's finger while convincing himself he gave consent to it. Facts, though. All the people who would have voted for Anthony over his alliance members, he is evicting before the jury phase even begins. This is almost like a guy going out of his way to ruin his game. It's almost like he learned from Dane last week. Let me ruin my game too. Let me ruin every win condition I possibly had coming into this game by getting rid of every person of color who could actually relate to me in everyday life. Yeah, sounds about right. Anyway, let's continue. One of my biggest problems with Anthony is how he goes about throwing Kailyn under the bus. I've seen this guy ask Kailyn to cook food for him on multiple occasions on feeds, ladies and gentlemen. This is facts. But now he's changed the narrative that Kailyn was blackmailing him this whole time into working with her by cooking for him. What? What? Bruh, I've seen this dude on feeds beg her to make him a plate, bruh. I'm not lying. And at first I was like, bro, what are you doing? But then I found out their relationship was that good that he could joke like that. So to see this dude straight up throw her under the bus and make it seem like she was blackmailing him to cook for him, when in reality, he planned on playing her and eating her food anyway, it paints a crazy picture of Anthony, don't it? Ungrateful. Ungrateful, man. He was the guy asking her to save or make him a plate during feeds all throughout week 1. Now, when it's convenient, the soul food was strategy on her end, but him eating it somehow wasn't strategy on his. He's getting bodied tonight. He's getting bodied tonight. Doesn't he know this was a contributing factor to why the women thought Kailyn had him wrapped around his finger? He's taking no accountability for the role he played in making Kailyn a target. Exactly. That's what I find most disappointing about Anthony. His social game is good enough to not have to consistently bash the only other black player. When Tamar did this, she did it to protect Candy, but never gave anyone the authorization to truly get her out. Anthony has eaten this lady's food that she made specifically for him because he reminded her of one of her kids, and now he's acting like she did nothing for him in the game. This is some of the most ungrateful shit I've seen in a long time, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't even smile around her no more like he used to. And I'm sure that's a contributing factor to Kailyn looking more nervous. Looking more nervous to the white players. If this big bravado swole champagne tone can't be the same guy around her no more, she knows she'll pretty much be backdoored. Chick in my head. They working so hard to make good TV, they are embarrassing themselves in the process, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's continue. We need to put some respect on Ricky Williams' name. Let's talk that hot shit today, Smitty. Put some respect on Ricky Williams' name, ladies and gentlemen, because for all the mistakes he made in BB Celeb 2, he never once targeted a sister until the very end. And that was all to ensure he made it to the final 2 with another black woman. So at the end of the day, for all the shit we were talking about Ricky Williams, Anthony makes Ricky Williams look like Malcolm X. And I didn't mean to steal that joke from Paul Mooney. That was the Negro Damas joke. But let's continue. Anthony doesn't care about none of that shit because he probably doesn't understand how hard it is to make it to the end without help from people who look like you. He thinks he's smooth enough to stay off the radar, but it will never happen. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, he's on the radar now. Today, he's got himself put on the radar. And guess how he got himself put on the radar? From playing the game he said Kailyn's playing. I can't make this up. This is poetic justice, man. This is poetic justice. You target black people for no reason, they're going to start targeting your black ass for no reason. And you're going to be the guy like, come on, guys, I protected y'all for weeks. So, and? You're an idiot, dog. Now, let's continue. And he's constantly telling his alliance to pay attention to what people say when they reveal themselves, which does nothing but show his allies he's smarter than they think. My question to Anthony would be, who do you think is going to vote for you to win if there are no people of color in the jury? If nobody perceives you to be controlling the early game, you most likely won't be able to control the mid game either. The mid game will be Adam's game because Adam has 2 different Final Fours and Corey on the side to replace Kira if she tweaks out. And he only has them two Final Fours because your dumb ass chose to get rid of Mackie. Okay, so this always comes back on you. This is nobody else's fault but yours. Your one vote could have single-handedly made this game interesting. Your one vote single-handedly made this game a snooze fest. Let's continue, okay? Hopefully, Corey continues to trust Damian, and Damian wins this blood veto, so they know when to launch a counterattack. But we'll see on that. And by the way, if I had to tell y'all, if I had to advise the RBR Nation who they should vote for to be the person to get to spy on people the same way Damian got to earlier in the game, I would say Corey is the person. Because at the end of the day, she's close to Damian. Damian has already spied and figured out some information, okay? Like, he already knows for a fact that Dane is working with Adam. He already knows that because he saw it. And then they didn't allow him in the group. So now he knows both of them are ops, okay? So I personally think Corey's the right choice, mainly because the majority of these house guests already assume she already was able to spy on them because she came into the game late. Meaning, if she gets to spy on them, it almost doesn't affect her game at all from the perception of the rest of the house, just because they already assume she did it. Whereas the rest of these players, okay, at the end of the day, I don't think they would be able to hide it, right? I think Corey would be able to, because right now she's on no one's radar. In fact, in my opinion, she's in the best position in the game currently, and that's mainly because she didn't have to vote in the last she didn't have to vote in the last vote. And that basically saved her, because everyone else who voted and forced the tie, now all of them are being targeted. And all of the people who decided to stay on the other side, they're able to, you know, basically stay out of harm's way. So, you know, Corey counts basically as one of the people who voted to keep Kira just because she didn't vote at all. But we all know she would have voted to save Mackie. So at the end of the day, it's interesting. You know, when you take away the ability to choose, sometimes doing nothing is better than doing something, you know? So that's what I noticed, ladies and gentlemen. But my fault. I lost myself in the notes for a split second. I'll be there in a split second. Okay, here it is. Yeah, man, I got some crazy notes tonight. It's finna get lit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we finna get to Saturday's feeds, coach. It's finna get real, coach. All right. Kira approaches Corey to tell her she deserves to be in this game more than most of the people there, because most of these people are just playing summer camp. Interesting she has this opinion of the game, seeing as she is aligned to the damn summer camp counselors. Let's keep it all the way a buck tonight. So the game is summer camp, but you're trying to play touch booty with Chelsea? Come on, Kira. Come on, Kira. Be real. Thanos is here. Do I got to use my reality stone to figure out the truth? Come on, coach. Like, keep it all the way a buck here. All right, you're trying to do some summer camp shit with her too. All right. Interesting. But yeah, like I said, it's interesting she has this opinion. So I think her whole purpose of applying this strategy is to throw Kiki under the bus, because she feels slighted by her the most as a fellow member of the LGBT. She thinks Kiki is just phony, but Kiki has been playing the game. Yet Kira wants her out over Damian, even though she claims to want the wild cards gone over the real players. This is a direct contradiction, and I'm hoping Corey, the biologist, is smart enough to peep game on it. Kira also wants Kailyn gone, but Kailyn has been playing the game too. Yet she is looked at as a wild card because she plays the game. So understand, the two aren't mutually exclusive. So for the non-binary blindsider to use this as her reasons for targeting both women only shows she is playing this game personal, just like all the other players she's working with. And she's only having this conversation with Corey now because Corey didn't get to vote and show her cards. If Corey had voted, she probably wouldn't even be telling her she deserves to be in the game. So Kira's game is still just as bad despite Chelsea winning HOH. Okay, let's continue. Kailyn thinks Dane is a wimp for not keeping his word, and she even believes there was a 4-person alliance between Mackie, Dane, and the Youngbloods. First off, I want to clap to Kailyn calling him a damn wimp on feeds. Yeah, that was a wimp move. Let's call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. That was a wimp-ass move, all right? Now, let's continue. But yeah, so she thinks there's a 4-person alliance between the Youngbloods, Dane, and Mackie. Kailyn and Eddie both would prefer Kira going home, but no, it's not possible. So they really want Estefania to be sacrificed before anyone else. Oh, almost lost myself. Before anyone else, because Estefania is perceived to be in a pseudo-showmance with Dane by people on the other side. That isn't good for Estefania's game in the long run, but for now, it at least kept her off the block. Kailyn could see Kira as being used by that other side, but at this point, there's nothing they can do about it because Kira hates their side. Apparently, there was some huge fight. Kira started with people once Mackie left. We saw that on today's episode, but it was highly edited. So we can't really nitpick that much more than the fact that they left out stuff that would have really would have villainized the players they prefer. And we already got it in that, so let's continue. And also, apparently, Kailyn came at Dane sideways, too. Hopefully, we see this on Sunday's episode. We kind of saw it, but we didn't really see it. And I know one thing. Something made Kailyn stand up, coach. Listen, I'm sure people would love, because isn't it interesting? The same episode, Kailyn stands up and stands up to her bullies, basically. It's the same episode she's being labeled dangerous. It's almost like they were trying to imply she was going to throw a punch, right? So my point is, what could they have said to make her stand up? Because she was calm now. And she stood up and defended herself, but she didn't lose herself either. So let me ask y'all this question one more time. What did they say to her to make her stand up? They said something, okay? Because I listen, look, I got a black mom, okay? I know for a fact black women don't stand up unless you say something that ain't correct, coach. That's disrespectful, coach. That's when shit gets real, okay? And shit got real. And at the end of the day, for y'all to not show both sides of this story, to only show one side of the story is disrespectful, okay? It's disrespectful. And let's just keep it all the way a buck. Now let's continue. Mark, Adam, and Anthony talk to Chelsea about who she'll pick for veto, and Chelsea isn't sure who to select. Adam wants to be picked because he wants to win everything, but he also thinks it would be too obvious of a choice to make. Mark tries to use reverse psychology on Chelsea to get her to pick him by saying she would never pick him. This leads to Chelsea picking him if he wants to be picked. Mark doesn't say no or yes, though. Mark clearly is only doing this because he wants to win veto to save Kiki, to show her he can protect her better than Damian can. That's my opinion. That's the only reason why I could see him throwing that out there. This is all a pissing contest for Mark, if you ask me. Mark thinks this game is playing out exactly how he wanted and believes pathological lying is the only way for him to win. So it's wise to take everything he says, even to the pretty boys, as a lie until he follows up on his promises through confessional. He wants to show up Damian. That is his only motivation here. And to be real, this personal vendetta of jealousy contradicts his own strategy of not wanting to win comps until the end, showing me that Damian has Mark out of character and playing against his own long-term win conditions. Chelsea says if she gets house guest choice, she will pick Dane to throw people off. But really, she's only doing this because she knows Dane would do what they want now that Estefania is safe. But Dane needs to be careful because the more comps he dominates, the more Estefania gets hurt by association. On feeds, people keep talking about some food comp Dane dominated, like he ate a whole bunch of food like a machine. We saw that in tonight's episode. You know, suspiciously, that makes the episode. I haven't seen a food comp in years. All of a sudden, we getting food comps, coach. Anything to keep production's pet from looking bad. We gonna give y'all new shit now. We gonna do new twists. We ain't gonna give you Marcia the Moose. We gonna give you Wendy's. We gonna give you dead fish. We gonna give you this. We gonna give you all the shit in the world to stall for time, okay? This made Mark's antennas go up because he even mentioned by himself to the cameras out loud that he never thought Dane would be a food comp threat. It's clear to me he's becoming more scared by the day of being in the Final Four with these four guys. Mark and everyone agrees the odds of Kailyn being picked and winning veto would be less than 15% chance. If that's the case, why the fuck are y'all backdooring her then? That's when Chelsea admitted her agenda. She wants to make good TV by backdooring someone she knows would never win veto. She said it flat out. She even implied picking Kira for the veto to let her take someone off to throw up her adversary Kailyn would be even better TV. But she whispered that part because she knew it would imply she was cynical. And the fact that Kira ended up playing in this veto and then throwing it to Sam makes me think that that Chelsea did get house guest choice and she was the one who picked Kira. And that's why she feels like this all blew up on her game because she chose Kira to represent her. And then Kira threw it to Sam, which then made Sam and Adam both look like combies in the process. So this was a double bluff Kira pulled on everybody. You know, but she still thinks she's in good with everybody. This is pretty weird, man. Okay, so she implied Kira needs this special moment to feel welcomed in the house at the expense of someone black being blindsided by an unnecessary backdoor. Why does it matter if Kira feels welcome, though? Is it because she wants nothing romantically with her and this is the next best thing she can do for her? Is production pushing for this? I know one thing. If Chelsea picks Kira for this veto, I'm calling bullshit because that decision makes no sense and will only make Kira more deluded that Chelsea has feelings for her. Now, let's get to Sunday. Let's get to today's feeds, ladies and gentlemen. I took so many notes today, and these notes are going to back up my argument, not only that Chelsea's playing personally, but that Anthony's a damn fool. Let's go. Sam won veto. For her game, I don't understand why she won this. Now she has painted an even bigger target on her showmans, and Adam is beginning to get more cocky that they can't be stopped. Supposedly, Kira wasn't picked for veto because Chelsea and Sam felt they couldn't trust her. But just like last week, Kailyn is being blamed for the decisions other people make. How is not sharing information with Kira, who hates Kailyn, make it easier to get out Kailyn? All it's going to do is eventually push Kira to flip. Chelsea and Adam are sure they'll be able to recruit Damian, but Adam is scared because they both put Damian up. This is what I mentioned before previously in another rant. Chelsea played a bit messy nominating Damian and Kiki because one of those two will win the blood veto in all likelihood. Allegedly, Adam blew up on Damian and has been trying to keep his distance ever since. Funny thing is, Chelsea wants Mark out before any of the other guys, but not as much as Kailyn, even though Mark is playing a more manipulative game and has jurisdiction to apply said game on both sides compared to Kailyn, who can't. This backs up my argument that a black player is always perceived as twice as threatening despite having half the amount of blood on their hands compared to their white counterparts. Let's continue. Chelsea admits she notices Mark being two people in the game. This is exactly what I said in the last rant as well. I mean, I've been on point here all season. Now, Adam is trying to deflect by saying Mark would never target them. But each time he's so outspoken about guys not targeting them, he reveals his cards and his side deals. I'm just disappointed Chelsea in this moment didn't have her own contingency plan. In theory, Kailyn would make the perfect temporary ally for her to get out guys like Mark. And Mark is going to be more of a problem down the stretch than Kailyn ever would be. But these women are allowing Adam to guide them to play his game. And see, this is my problem with people saying, oh, Kiki and Estefania are overrated. They're bad players. But then in the same breath, Chelsea and Sam are good because they won comps. When you talk about casual, coach, you pop up in the dictionary saying some dumb shit like that. Now let's continue. I just don't understand why Chelsea is wasting the back door on someone who can't win a challenge. Mark thinks he has the game already won, but since he isn't black, it ain't a problem yet, huh? It's really that simple. Same stuff they ridicule Kiki, Kailyn, and Eddie for, Mark does much more of. But Chelsea isn't even considering backdooring Mark, even though that would be the best play for her game. But had the nerve to imply backdooring Kailyn would be good TV. Good TV for who? Canada wanted Mackie to stay. So by proxy, they were rooting for Kailyn and against Mark, who made xenophobic comments. Good TV would be Mark getting backdoored, which begs the question, are y'all just trying to backdoor this sister to make her look bad when she reacts to it? Some white folks love seeing black tantrums on TV. Let's just be honest. What could possibly make this coward move good TV if she isn't considering Kailyn's feelings? If Kailyn was white, would her game even be a problem to Chelsea? Or would she just replace Kira on their side with Kailyn? See what I'm saying? Kailyn has done nothing wrong this week and has played it close to the vest. She has spoken to people on her side here and there, but she's cautious, and she can feel the negative energy coming from that HOH room. Chelsea is borderline psychotic the way she obsesses over Kailyn's behavior. She tells her alliance what to say and what not to, just to keep Kailyn from reading the tea leaves. People usually go through all this trouble to get out apex predator threats, but she's literally micromanaging a backdoor on a player who is helpless right now. There's nothing else that needs to be said here. Chelsea's game is the prototypical game we've seen in the past seasons. This is why it was so easy to predict. Predictable weeks lead to boring feeds. Big Brother Canada desperately needs the other side to win the next HOH, or this season could die quickly. What has Mark really done, though, to make people trust him so much? Nothing. This is why people are getting bored with this season. Everybody either wants a showmance or doesn't want to flip until later. Meaning, us fans, we're supposed to enjoy them, flat out eradicate all perceived floaters and enjoy it? The people they consider floaters are the only likable players, though, showing me once again, they either aren't reading into the fans' reaction this past Thursday or are choosing to ignore it to justify their own personal form of gameplay. And I'm not saying you got to cater to the fans either, but when does it ever make sense to send a recruit home over a super fan? And why is only Kailyn being targeted for her knowledge of the game when Mark knows the game more? They even said out their mouths on Sunday that Mark has the potential to convince others to target them. You know, the same skill they claim Kailyn came into this game with. Interesting how Mark is viewed as a guy who has attained this style of gameplay, but the black woman is expected to have already mastered this gameplay before she even came into the game and after her closest ally already left. Let me continue. How can she still have the same pool without Mackie there? Usually when someone's partner leaves, the majority tries to knock out another partner of another duo to make both players rely on the majority for information. But when it's black or Middle Eastern players, have y'all noticed how the players always get sent home back to back? Let's talk about it. See, the way I put the words together, they can't refute none of this shit. That's why they be so mad at me. That's why they be so mad. Because People would love to be like, hey, I'll debate you, but what about what I just said, though? How about you debate that shit that's on wax? See, they don't want to talk about that because I'm right already. See, it's all good. I don't need your acceptance. Let's continue. Nobody forgives. Oh, my fault. No matter what we did the following week to not ruffle feathers, nobody forgives a person of color for making mistakes, but white players get to have 9 lives. This only further shows how great of a game Tamar Braxton played, and I don't care what no one says. It's evident to me that some people in this cast know Tamar won Celebrity Big Brother US 2 because they are treating Kailyn like she is a returning player with another season of gameplay to use as source material to railroad her. These people are so sure of who she is and her gameplay, but they see no value in it helping their games. Everybody can help somebody's game. So for all them to jump on code to admit this harmless lady is some apex predator threat that can't change its stripes only further backs up my argument as to the double standard of race and Big Brother. Let's continue. These dumb fucks root for people like Dane and Mark who say racist shit, Sam and Chelsea who say subtle racist shit, but then come to my channel and call me someone who turns everything into race. Are you not watching the feeds, dog? Are you not? Do you go here, bro? Like, let's just keep it all the way a buck tonight. Are you not seeing all the people of color or that are on the outs at the same time? I don't believe in coincidences, but obviously you do. I bet you believe in Santa Claus too, you dumb ass. Now let's continue. Are you not seeing these microaggressions that are clear as day? Of course you do. But if you were to admit all these things exist, you would be forced to hold that side that you love so much accountable. And that's what most people refuse to do. I've held everyone accountable this season. It's about time for your selectively bigoted ass to do the same. Let's keep it all the way a buck tonight. All right. And if you can't take the harsh truth I exclusively bring to the table, then don't watch the channel. This channel is for people that want to see the full 360-degree view and perspective on Big Brother, not your revisionist historian, slaves or indentured servants bullshit. Okay, we tired of that bullshit. We want to hear the truth, coach. And that's why they come to my channel. Anthony has a conversation with Dane earlier this morning by the hot tub. And Anthony tells Dane he doesn't trust Mark. Dang, I accidentally put she right there. My bad, bro. I'm not going to feminize you now. Adam told Anthony that all the women are threatened by Dane being a comp beast now. Allegedly, Allegedly, Kira threw the veto to Sam in front of everybody, and it was very obvious. So now Chelsea is scared as shit that her game is being exposed. Kira just nuked Chelsea's game by confirming how close they are to both Chelsea and Sam. This led to Anthony advising Chelsea, to patch things up with Damian and Kiki. Now everything is starting to make much more sense. This strong alliance is starting to get a bit reckless with how cocky they are, and Kira, the person they wanted to stay so bad over Mackie, ironically enough, had a comp 1 and threw it, meaning Chelsea is already looking like an idiot for wanting Mackie gone. Kira leaving would have been addition by subtraction for Chelsea's social game, but that other side got too greedy and wanted people of color gone more than they wanted to make the best move for their own games. Kailyn and Damian walk in and interrupt the rest of their conversation, and the shit ends. Okay. Now it all makes sense why Chelsea is so scared of Kailyn speaking to Kira post-veto comp. She doesn't want them comparing notes and Kailyn figuring out that Chelsea ain't shit. But shouldn't Chelsea be trying to backdoor Kira here to prove they aren't close instead of going after Kailyn and leaving constant speculation in Kira working with her and Sam? See, a good player autocorrects the mistakes by turning on Kira here. But Chelsea at this point has shared way too much information with her and everyone else that it will be Kailyn going up, and she's too much of a coward to step up to the plate and protect Sam by backdooring Kira here. Yeah, let's call it what it is. That's the type of player Chelsea is. If you're a fan of Chelsea, you're a fan of a coward. It's that simple. That's the game she plays. Oh, she's a good player. No, she's a coward. She's a coward. Now let's continue. Plus, Kira throwing veto to Sam painted a bigger target on the showman. So this showmans aren't that good of players either if they don't want Kira gone for doing this. But Adam is obsessed with everything. I'm sure he's convinced Sam this is the best case scenario because they control another week. But this further proves that they are targeting Kailyn for personal reasons. Because from a strictly gameplay perspective, Kira has done more to hurt their games directly than Kailyn has so far. So you can no longer say Kailyn being backdoored is the best move or a move that makes sense anymore. This is literally people just looking for an easy week by sending someone black home. Let's continue. And what's even better about this clusterfuck of a veto comp is the fact that Adam is mad at Chelsea for not choosing him for the veto, making me assume she chose either Sam or Kira. I think it was Kira based off how she reacted. But most likely she chose Kira because I don't see Chelsea being so scared about this result unless she had house guest choice. Either way, this alliance will slowly implode because they're all too full of themselves. Chelsea says she doesn't want to get anyone out that has her back. So she is protecting Kira just because she's in love with her, showing Chelsea is just as evil a manipulator as she would like us to believe Kailyn is. She wants Kira to become a bigger target than her and Sam, but that's not happening. Kira has nobody if Chelsea leaves, but Chelsea has many people if Kira leaves. So Chelsea is vastly underestimating the intellect of the other side to assume Kira will be viewed as a bigger threat over the people who saved her the week prior. You see this? I'm exposing how she's not a good player. So for all you people saying Chelsea's a good player, explain this. You can't. Now let's continue. Chelsea is showing me how overrated her gameplay is, and Sam is showing me how poor of a player she is to allow Kira to throw the veto to her in the first place. Anthony and most people on the other side think Kira is being targeted next, but I don't think anyone would waste an HOH on Kira because Kira would flip at any moment. Turns out Adam was helping Sam in the veto comp too, meaning Adam's backup Final Four got exposed during this competition. So it all makes sense why he's mad about how it happened. Even though Adam wanted her to win, he didn't want Kira throwing it to her for her to win. Chelsea tells Kira to apologize to Damian specifically because right now it looks like a huge side is working against him because they work so hard to stop him from winning the veto. Chelsea has a point, but why did Sam feel the need to win this comp in her position if she's this good of a player? You feel what I'm saying? I'm competitive. No, that's bad gameplay on your part because you were sitting pretty. And a lot of people view Sam as the person who has the power vacuum right now. Okay? A lot of people. And that's mainly the men that are and Anthony is really the one pushing that narrative. And see, Anthony's an idiot because I truly believe Adam will always choose her over Anthony. And earlier today, Mark even whispered to himself, Anthony is really smart. Mark is getting threatened by your ass too. And if Dane already broke a promise to a person of color and he's already calling you a baboon, he gonna turn on you too. So who do you really have, Anthony? We gonna get into that in a second. We gonna get into that in a second, boy. That strategic sunken place is a real thing. Now, okay, she isn't a good player. She's just in a good position because Anthony made a bad decision and doesn't know it yet. That side had nothing to lose from Damian winning veto, but their obsession with controlling everything is what led to Kira making this mistake to want to impress them and prove she belongs. The same way I'd argue Anthony has been trying to prove he belongs by bashing Kailyn. But once again, only Kailyn is playing a controlling game, Dave. Further showing the double standard Kailyn is dealing with. Chelsea is so sure what Kailyn is going to do once she gets backdoored. Like the way she talks about what Kailyn is going to do, it's so disrespectful. I mean, if she's this predictable, why do you want her gone so bad? It doesn't make sense. See, it's personal, y'all. It's personal. But if Kailyn is this predictable, why does she want her out? Her execution of this strategy is a direct contradiction of her strategy. I thought Kailyn was this wild card, but now they're talking like they already know what she's going to do. They think Kailyn will only use this Kira situation to round up the troops, but I expect her to do more than that. That's just what these simple players would do in her position, and they're projecting, okay? But what about Dane and Mark? How do they feel about Kira doing this? Shouldn't they be regretting sending Mackie home after this? Dane broke a promise on a dead relative just to see Kira compromise Adam's game. And Estefania could have easily been thrown up over Kiki if Dane wasn't the last HOH. So this easily could have been more messy if they did all of this with Esta on the block. If Kira makes the end, Kira deserves to win because this big alliance are idiots for keeping her. She is the apex predator threat, and I stand by that. Because at the end of the day, she is the quintessential person. Once you let her survive a few weeks, no one ever targets her anymore. Because then it becomes, she can't possibly win. We're going to target everyone who could possibly win. Then the men are at each other's heads, okay? Man, I'm telling y'all. Mark my words, Adam and Mark going to turn on you, Anthony. I'm going to break it down in a second. Now, let's continue. Chelsea says Kailyn's manipulation of the week will be to play sad. Why can't she be sad, though? Adam yelled at her. Why is Chelsea acting like she doesn't have the right to be sad? Why is Anthony laughing about Kailyn's tears to Corey? Why is he laughing about her tears to Adam? This is just weird, man. Okay? Anthony has abandoned her. And I know that hurt the sister no matter what she may say out loud. Then on top of that, all the white people want her gone. Kailyn can barely get any sleep because she can feel the tension and hate in the air. Black people are the best at reading body language because in lots of cases, it's life or death if you can't size someone up correctly. Kailyn knows they are coming for her, but it's interesting how little these players think of Damian's intellect, even though they think he will target Adam. They still view him as a smaller threat than Kailyn. Does that make any sense? It doesn't. It really doesn't make any sense for Chelsea or Sam's game, because at the end of the day, Damien's the only person who could probably beat Adam head to head in a comp on the other side. You feel me? So once again, they're just proving how dumb they are. Okay. Chelsea plans to tell Damien and Kiki the plan only because she thinks Mark told them the backdoor plan already. Chelsea had a speech prepared that was going to be petty and malicious. She plans to say, "You've been lying since you came in the game, so now you can lie in the bed you made." That's just straight trashy to me. Chelsea is so obsessed with Kailyn, she's even saying Kiki is campaigning the way she is because of Kailyn's influence. And she's also said Estefania is starting to campaign like Kailyn. I mean, everything anybody does on that other side, it was Kailyn. It was Kailyn. It was Kailyn. Seriously, that's what the feeds have been this weekend, coach. I'm giving y'all a quick summary. Because trust me, sitting through all of these conversations that feel like wash, rinse, repeat, it'll drive you nuts. That's why I'm glad I went to that fight last night, coach. Errol Spence got that work put on Mikey. But anyway, let's keep it going. But here's the $1,000,000 question. Do any of you believe Chelsea would have all this hot shit to say if she was backdooring a white person? I highly doubt it. Mark has been lying from the start too and has a higher chance to win the game, but he isn't even being considered for this backdoor. So her speech is complete bullshit. And now I'm curious what her initial speech was that she deemed inappropriate. And if she considered doing it regardless, that proves she has a personal problem with Kailyn in the first place, ladies and gentlemen. Because what would make you think of a speech that is inappropriate in the first place unless you got a legit problem with this person? This ain't just a game to you. This ain't just a game to you. Like, let's call it what it is. Kiki speaks to Sam and Chelsea. These two tell Kiki that her keeping her word to Mackie is good because it shows them they can trust her word. Huh? Aren't they targeting Kailyn for keeping her word to Mackie too? This is more proof that they have a personal problem with Kailyn because they won't even give her the same open-minded dialogue. I find this to be so shady, and I don't blame Kiki at all for taking whatever deal she has to stay safe. I blame the current HOH and veto holder for playing like cowards, then only wanting to keep it real when they got paranoid by Mark. Then just throw up Mark. What's the problem? Throw him up then. If they're scared now, they'll be more scared later by Mark playing both sides. Why is that okay, but Kailyn campaigning for Mackie wasn't? I need answers. Because if it isn't about race, make it make sense to me. Because nobody is held to the same standard Kailyn is, and this is why I had a problem with people calling her mama in the first place. Kiki and Estefania are bummed out that Kailyn is being targeted because she was someone who would have helped them in the game. And I respect you two sisters for that, by the way. Kiki tells Estefania what Sam and Chelsea told her before Dane walks in. Dane really doesn't like Sam. He thinks that she is running the game, the same way Anthony believes she is running the game. Dane agrees with the Youngbloods that one of Sam or Chelsea has to go home next. Dane is telling Kiki and Estefania that Sam has driven the vote for each week so far. She drove Laura out, and I don't really think she drove Mackie out, bro. That was you, Dane. Stop the bullshit, okay? But I'll agree she's driving this vote most likely as well. Okay, I'll agree with that much. But you're weak. Take responsibility for it, Dane. Stop trying to blame a woman for the mistakes you made in the fucking game. We're not going to forget that, bruh. We not, okay? My fault. Did I lose my... Oh, no, I didn't lose myself. Let's keep it going. But yeah, so like I said, he's blaming her for all of the weeks that just passed, okay? If Chelsea was smart, she'd see Sam as setting her up to fail. And letting Sam use the veto on Kiki doesn't help Chelsea's game with Kiki at all because Chelsea still nominated her. Dane tells them he wants Damien to win HOH to take the shot, but I'm not too sure about that. There is no guarantee Damien would throw up Sam. He's more likely to throw up Chelsea next to Adam or Adam next to Dane. He don't like Dane, okay? Damien walks in and Dane reiterates how important it is for him to win it. Damien right now was just being pulled in constant directions by so many people with agendas, but he's keeping it even keel like a good player should. One thing's for sure though, Chelsea nominated Damien next to Kiki because there is some flirtation there, and Dane would never be okay with Esther being thrown up. Dane still shouldn't be trusted though, because he's blaming Sam for the decision he made to lie on his father's name. That wasn't Sam doing that. That was him. His alliance even tried to tell him not to do it, but he did it anyway. He wants Damien to do the dirty work he was too scared to do in week 2. And that really is the story of the Pretty Boys Alliance. A bunch of guys too scared to fire the first shot at each other, but voluntarily give power to people they claim to be threatened by, only to side with them to target players they need to get the power vacuum back from. Man, listen, I'm frying them. And I'm speaking at a high-class super fan level. And if you're following me, if you're keeping up with me, you know I'm ethering these people. Now let's continue. When Estefania isn't in the room, Chelsea and Sam be clowning her just as much as Kiki. These two are mean girls. They scoffed at the idea of Esther saying she just wanted to make jury. But that same quote has been said every season. So Chelsea, of all people, shouldn't act so surprised when she hears it. Not only that, their alliance is the one specifically pointing out people that don't deserve to make the jury. So isn't it a bit hypocritical for you to be the jury police, but then be angry at someone for wanting to make the jury? If you are making it so difficult to make it, shouldn't more people on the bottom think of it as an achievement when they do make it? You can't have it both ways. You see what I did there? This lets me know these are some entitled people that are in control of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Anthony has a conversation with Chelsea and further throws Kailyn under the bus, but Eddie as well. He mentions how Kailyn told everyone about Dane swearing on his dad, and that's what got Dane uncomfortable. That was the right thing for Kailyn to do, though, to hold Dane accountable. But why isn't Anthony holding Dane accountable should be on Chelsea's mind? Isn't that a red flag for Dane to break his word? Isn't Chelsea the one telling Kiki she values people's words? Okay, so why isn't she questioning Anthony's agenda? She even implied Kailyn wanted Anthony to be her warrior. That's the same rhetoric Kira was using a week ago to describe Mackie. Remember? I'm catching them. I'm catching all the microaggressions. But Anthony is so full of himself, he doesn't see the forest from the trees. Anthony made a huge mistake telling Chelsea to her face that Sam is running the game now. Sam was the one who picked Anthony versus Corey when she could have picked the young bloods in the HOH comp. So if Chelsea is smart, she can flip this and make Anthony an easy target for Sam. Anthony talking about this game isn't for the weak or emotional, but they just saved Kira, who was weak and emotional last week. You see the bullshit, y'all? He's implying somehow Kailyn is weak and emotional, but Kira isn't. Ain't that a bitch? Let's continue. He's so full of shit. He's not even a super fan. How the fuck would he know anyway? We getting them on St. Patrick's Day. That's St. Patrick's smoke. All right? Now, he legitimately is laughing at a black woman's tears to a white woman who stereotyped him just a week ago. This is the strategic sunken place for Anthony. He gives out all this advice to people, but he has done nothing yet himself to prove he has any credibility to give said advice. He thinks he's such a great player for misleading another black player to be accepted by white people. That makes you a damn goofy strategically more than anything. And telling all these people what to do to get out of their own problems just paints the target bigger on him as a mental threat on top of his obvious physical threat as a black man. Simply put, Anthony is his own worst enemy, but he doesn't know it because he's drinking his own Kool-Aid too much. Everybody Chelsea gives this second chance to is white in the game. You notice that? Nobody she gives a second chance to is a minority besides Kiki, and she's half white. She says Kiki and Damien's raw emotion and loyalty make them smart to keep around. Huh? But in the same breath, she agrees with Anthony that emotional players don't deserve to make it far. Huh? See the bullshit here? Kailyn is like a special case. No one else can fit into that box, even though they're claiming everyone's emotional and we don't want that. But then they say, we value your emotion. Huh? This is another example of how ludicrous Chelsea's HOH is, ladies and gentlemen. Facts, okay? Anthony throws Eddie under the bus as being so smart, but then he says Eddie ran up to him to flip on Mackie, but Eddie didn't vote Mackie out. So Anthony is using this to blame Kailyn because Eddie told him, she told him it would be a tie vote. So in other words, this majority alliance is the only group of players who are allowed to lie in the game and not be called emotional. Fuck out of here. You see what I'm doing? Then Anthony flat out lies to Chelsea and tells her he kept Kira over Mackie because Kira will always be a target and Chelsea would have been the next one targeted if Kira left. Huh? Tone, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? He just be motor mouthing, dog. Sometimes you just gotta shut up. I mean, isn't this what he's saying Mackie didn't do last week? He didn't shut up. Isn't this what he's saying Kailyn to do? This is what you're doing now, bro, because you're trying too hard to play the game that you were condemning. That's why you're looking like such an idiot on these feeds. This doesn't make any sense. Mackie was even a shield for Anthony, and nobody would have came for Chelsea next. But why is protecting Chelsea more important than protecting the only other black person in the game, Anthony? Yeah, let's get down to it. See my point? Anthony is in a strategic sunken place. And literally a few minutes later on feeds, Mark is whispering to himself saying, Anthony is really smart. Peep this around 5 p.m. today, Canada time on feeds, because he said it like he was surprised by Anthony's intellect. This isn't good for Anthony's game because, like I said, he's spending too much time showing everyone how smart he is. Once they get all these perceived floaters out, Anthony is the most dangerous because he is telling them how well he can mislead one of his own in Kailyn. So, of course, they expect him to do worse to them down the line. If you treat someone who looks like you poorly, you'll probably do it again to someone who doesn't look like you. Anthony is taking this into consideration. Well, he isn't taking this into consideration because he's so focused on telling everyone what they want to hear to feel like he belongs in their group. Anthony keeps calling Kailyn cocky, but he's the cocky one thinking these house guests won't use this same rhetoric against him later in the season. And if Mark already feels this way about Anthony, that he could be playing his style of gameplay, Mark will turn on Anthony real soon, ladies and gentlemen. And if he doesn't do it, he's going to turn someone on him, okay? And it's going to be seamless. I think he will try to work one of Damian, Kiki, or Estefania to get out Anthony down the road. That's my prediction. And Mark has already showed us signs of constant xenophobic and stereotypical views of other races of people. So it will fall in line with his character to be the one that flips on Anthony first, making Anthony that much of an idiot for not keeping Mackie. Anthony is his own worst enemy. He told Corey today that there was always a plan to backdoor Kailyn. Why would you tell her that? Wow, huh? Doesn't he know if Corey says that to Kailyn, Kailyn will confront him? He already told Chelsea he wants Kailyn to confront him. What are you doing? Doesn't that blow up your game if she can? What an idiot. Like, it's like he wants a platform to come. Like, really? Like, I've never seen nothing like this before, y'all. Like, I've never seen nothing, but this is crazy. This is crazy. And all of this is facts, man. And this happened all today on the edit, bruh. I mean, on the feeds, man. Now, he already told Chelsea he wants her to confront him. Now, when I say her, I mean Kailyn, of course. I'm so confused why he is so confrontational with the only black woman in the game that cooks him dinner. I can't root for Anthony as a result. And his one strength, his social game, is being exposed the more he shows people his mind. He has a habit of telling everyone the same exact thing, which is good for continuity purposes, but it's bad because no one can truly say Anthony is their real ride or die either. Anthony basically told Corey how the whole house perceived her when she came in the game, including his own alliance. So he's showing us he will throw his alliance under the bus, but only to people he wants to work with. Corey didn't even have to cook him a meal, though. He even told her he wanted to protect her because she's confident, but he turned on Kailyn for being cocky. What? You see that, man? He's going to all of these people, telling them why he couldn't work with Kailyn, and then he is buttering them up by saying, that's why I like you, though. You're special. Come on, man. Like, I'm telling you, y'all. Like, look, I ain't got no agenda here. I'm just reporting what's factual, all right? This is how he's coming to these people. This is how he's coming to them. He's literally like, hey, I'm willing to throw her under the bus, and I'm willing to kiss your ass. Which one would you like first? Like, that's literally his gameplay. Now, let's continue. He gave Corey way too much information that she could use against him later, okay? But at the end of the day, this is a contradiction for valuing someone's confidence, but then calling someone else cocky for being confident. He didn't do her any favors, but he wants her to think he's doing her a favor. Corey says she wants to win the next HOH to establish some relationships, but I think she's bluffing in front of Anthony and really wants to win to protect her allies and go for Mark or Adam. But isn't it so interesting how comforting Anthony is to all these white women, but he doesn't give Kailyn anywhere near the same respect? And see, the sisters see it, man. You know how many DMs I'm getting from sisters telling me, chew this motherfucker out. This motherfucker is a chauvinist, Dave. We need you to go ahead and represent. I'm getting hella messages. And see, this was already going to happen. But that just let me know that I'm not tweaking. I'm not looking for something. I'm actually seeing something, and it's confirming it. All right, let's continue. Truth is, Anthony is a floater himself, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it. But he's on a jet ski being carried across the fucking ocean thinking he's the one on the boat. Let's keep it real, coach. Let's keep it real. He can act like he's doing these things, but all black superfans see on feeds, he is a guy who isn't a superfan acting like he's got the entire game figured out after 2 weeks. He's got HOH-itis and he ain't even HOH, coach. Real talk. He lacks any loyalty to his race in the game, but kisses up to white women all the time in the game. It's impossible to defend this behavior, and that's why he's in the strategic sunken place until further notice. Chelsea calls Kailyn, the person with no partner in the game, the head of the snake. What snake? The only snakes are on Chelsea's side. Let's talk about it. This is more projection coming from her. She knows this won't lead to anyone coming after her. That's why she's doing it. But it isn't for some grandmaster strategic reason. It's simply because she's too scared to make an actual big move this week. Mark is the play if she wants to have a higher chance of making Final Four, not Kailyn. This is personal for Chelsea. And after this rant, I don't think anyone can argue against my case, coach. Now you got fans on social media with these hot takes talking about Kiki and Esty aren't good players for forcing the tie. Well, good players find a way to force ties and play their own game before playing someone else's, coach. Maybe you want to watch more seasons than one, all right? These same people are essentially implying a unanimous vote reveals good players. That couldn't be further from the truth, though. In fact, if anyone is rooting for unanimous votes of anyone that wasn't racist in the game, they are just revealing how much of a casual fan they truly are by rooting for the same bland alliance we see 90% of the time in every season. Sam and Chelsea are bad players that are clinging to Adam to stay safe. It's that simple. Sam is the Angela and Chelsea is basically Rachel. I'm just keeping it all the way a buck with y'all tonight. Let's just call it what it is. Now let's continue. Right now, I would say the player in the best position is Corey, with Estefania in a close second. She is both sides thirsty for her as a number, and she hasn't even voted yet. If she had voted, Mackie would still be here. But since she didn't get to, she got none of the residual damage of forcing the tie, giving her plenty of room to pivot. This is great for Damian, Kiki, and Estefania, as long as one of them win the blood veto. Estefania is in second place for the best position because she has Dane protecting her, and Kiki, Eddie, or Damian will always be a pawn before her. She's in the polar opposite situation as Sam right now. This sets her up the best to benefit from the blood veto the most and guarantees she won't be kept from information in the future, ladies and gentlemen. But if Mark has a crush on Kiki and Dane has a crush on Estefania, doesn't that make both of them emotional players? Answer that, Anthony. Huh? So why is Anthony so loyal to the pretty boys when all three of them are playing emotional, and that was his deal breaker for not wanting to work with Kailyn? Boy, the receipts keep coming. See what I did there? I'm just further showing you how little it makes sense to get out Kailyn over anyone else for Anthony, while also showing you he doesn't practice what he preaches in his own advice to people. Only a weak player would swear on a dead relative to make someone feel at ease about the position they put them in. Only a weak person would be xenophobic behind multiple people's backs, and only a weak-minded person would throw stones at others for being weak, but not keep that same energy when their alliance is off their square. He keeps talking about Sam being in control, but that's his fault for keeping Kira. But does he acknowledge this ever? Nope, because his agenda is to bury Kailyn to look good by comparison. Hey guys, I'm the black guy who sold out all the people of color. You can never question my loyalty because I went against my own reasons for wanting Sam out just to spite Kailyn. Ding, ding, ding. That's basically his gameplay, y'all. That's Anthony on feeds, ladies and gentlemen. I've had women contact me to tell me that he's chauvinistic because of how dirty he's doing Kailyn. He's losing tons of support, and even if he were to win this season, which I highly doubt because of the way he started this season, he would have done nothing he would have done it in an unhonorable way. Just like Josh Martinez won the game because he had to become a buffoon, Anthony would be viewed as the guy who had to sell out to win. Let's call it what it is. Adam talks to Anthony in the have-not room, and both accept the fact that people are sketched out by Mark. Anthony wants to redirect the target on Eddie as soon as anyone wants Mark out. Why are these guys so cocky to believe they can change an HOH's mind who wants Mark gone? If they want Mark gone, you're not going to have a say in that shit because your opinion won't be valued. Plus, if they do that, they are just exposing how close they are to them, to Mark in the first place when they should be protecting themselves instead. Anthony really doesn't get it that Mark is his biggest threat in the game, and Mark is starting to see Anthony as his biggest threat. But Anthony is too blinded by, I'm loyal, bro. Okay, all right, bro, let's see where that gets you. Adam asks Anthony, when should that get out Sam? And Anthony, of course, deflects the question when they should get out Sam. Let me take that back. And Anthony, of course, deflects the question like he hasn't been telling everyone else that Sam is running the game. This could break trust between Adam and Anthony in the future because Anthony is being more honest about Sam's game to Corey than he is to Adam, who's supposed to be his boy. If any of this gets back to Mark my words, no pun intended, he will turn Saddam on Anthony. Anthony tells Adam and Damian, Adam tells Adam that Damian has a problem with Dane. And Adam admits since that blow up, he thinks the same of him. Anthony also admits Damian doesn't share information with him about Adam, meaning Damian is playing a good game because none of these players can't figure him out. Anthony finally says Sam needs to go soon after sharing way too much information that he knows about Sam's game. But that was after he deflected the initial questions from Adam. If I'm Adam, I don't like that because Anthony waffled a bit during this conversation. I fully believe Adam will work with Mark to get out Anthony at some point in this season. Adam tells Anthony Corey is closer to Sam than he thinks, which made Anthony visibly more nervous because he's sharing information about Sam to Corey and he isn't forthcoming with Adam about it. It's only a matter of time before Anthony gets painted with the same broad stroke he's painting Kailyn with. And this is the beginning of his game unraveling, in my opinion. Anthony keeps telling Adam what Sam, Chelsea, and Kira plan to do at the end, but how would Tone know what they're going to do at the end when he barely talks to them? They talk to him less than they talk to Mark as it is. And they're already freaked out by Mark, y'all. So how the fuck does Anthony think he has their games figured out? Talking this way about these women will only lead to Adam mentioning it on accident to Sam and having to expose Anthony's game to Sam. Adam then tells Anthony he plans to go to the inn with the men, but I think more people, but I think the more people tell him how much they hate Sam, the more he will feel compelled to sit at the inn with her. But what was the point of Anthony sharing that information with Corey if he was just going to tell Adam Corey is a threat? I thought he did that to scoop her up as a number, but after this conversation, it's fairly obvious Anthony is just doing too much talking. He is doing exactly what he said Kailyn was doing, and that's why I don't respect his game. And that's why Mark isn't going to want him in this game much longer. I think it would be poetic justice if the guy who said some racist shit in front of Anthony's face would be the same person who turned on Anthony. It would justify my critiques of Anthony's game and further back up my argument that he's in the strategic sunken place. Sam only considers Chelsea, the Youngbloods, Adam, and Dane as part of her 6-person alliance. Notice who's missing, guys. The 2 guys playing both sides to allow this 6 to feel like they're in control. Anthony and Mark. You notice they're not included, coach. This shows that I was right for reading between the lines of that HOH comp, and it also proves Anthony is doing all of this work for no recognition. Chelsea speaks with Kira, and they both compare notes on Anthony trying to plant seeds in people's heads. Sounds a lot like how seeds were planted to get out Kailyn last week, doesn't it? Kira even thinks Anthony is trying to take numbers from Adam. This theory synergizes with my theory that these folks will turn on Anthony for showing how smart he is to too many people. If they already think he could be working against Adam, it makes sense Sam thinks the same thing. If these 3 don't trust him, but he thinks he's in good with all of them, isn't he just as cocky and deluded as he said Kailyn was? This is a murder scene, dog. This is all Adam needs to hear. Is that Anthony possibly is trying to take numbers from him after he caught Anthony in a lie when they discussed Corey. This compounds with Mark growing more wary of Anthony's game, and it only further backs up my theory that Anthony will regret the day he sent Mackie home. No one is safe from criticism, and I'm disappointed in lots of these players. This season had such great potential, but if that blood veto goes to anyone on Adam's side, this season will die immediately, coach. Let's just call it what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, I believe this was the 6th rant. No, was it the 5th? Hold on, let me do my. No, I think this was the 6th rant of Big Brother Canada 7. I am, of course, your humble host, Dave Smith, and this is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism. This rant was entitled Strategic Sunken Place. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe. And on my channel, and on the right side of my channel's page, click on that bell. That way you could be here with the most lit live chat in Big Brother Canada history, bar none, coach. Y'all know who it is. I'm Thanos. Hope you all have a great week. I will see you all on Eviction Night Thursday because I got you all perfectly prepared for Wednesday's episode. It's going to trigger some of you. It might trigger most of you. But at the end of the day, we need to look out in this veto competition for how blatantly rigged and cheated and how blatant they cheated in this competition. Okay, we got people coming out of the woodwork trying to damage control. But at the end of the day, it's like I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, if you're going out of your way, okay, if you're going out of your way to allow cheating in a competition, when you already know that there's a majority alliance in the game, you are going out of your way to make sure that majority alliance continues to stay in power. Because at the end of the day, the majority alliance has less to lose from helping each other than the minority alliance has of helping each other in a competition. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a great week of work. I will see you on Thursday once again. I am Dave Smith. Once again, happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you who may be celebrating it. And I'm out of here. Deuces. Thanos.